3, 2, 1. Activate podcast.
Hey, guys.
All right. What's up, man?
Sam
Good to have
Calhoun,
you.
welcome
Hey, you.
Yeah.
to the cast.
Yeah, man. Very blessed to be here. Very grateful to be here. Last time we were here, it was snowing like cats and dogs outside. But now it's nice. Spring.
Yeah. Springtime, beautiful weather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys get this, but as soon as springtime hits, you realize, like, man, winter sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
We like teach ourselves.
As soon as the days get longer and you're like, man, I don't like feel like hiding in a hole and like.
It does feel good. It feels fantastic. But then it gets scary for me because then we're like, oh my gosh, tomorrow is FloydFest.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as it's nice. I'm going to jump right into it. You know, talking about winter wrapping up. Do you guys, with your toboggan racing team, I mean, do you guys like go through year round, or is that just like planning and like recoup? And...
It's more of the year than you think it is, right?
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, Team US Red Velvet Racing, we are Roanoke or Virginia's premier US toboggan racing team. And I'll tell you what, guys, it's serious. I mean, it's real. You know, we're racing.
How does the season hold up? Like, are there? I mean, do you still travel enough that like the season stretches out?
No, there's just good question here. There's just one competition.
And I'm speaking from like total ignorance.
No, and me too. You know, it's all new to me. I guess 4 years now we're working with it. There is just one U.S. National Toboggan Championship, and there's many days of racing.
Yeah.
Right, but it really is everything throughout the year to lead up to that weekend. The team that I'm blessed enough to be a part of, US Red Velvet Racing, it's an historical team. They've been doing it for like 3 generations. This gentleman who is a really good friend of mine, Shane Butler, his grandfather and I believe great-grandfather all raced at the same U.S. National Championships. In fact, we raced on his grandfather's sled, which was 90 years old, the first year we did it. But he moved to Roanoke, and he carried the tradition down here. Right. And he gave me a cold call one day and said, would you like to join the Toboggan Championship team? And that's a call you can never expect to get, and you have to say yes to.
you got to pause and be like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, let me think about it.
Yeah. And
You don't get to think about it. You have to say
you
yes.
have to say yes. You have to. And I admit, you can see the gray hair. I'm about 10 to 12 years older than everyone else on the team. It is a very physical sport, so I consider that.
Did you just say you jumped on a 90-year-old toboggan racing?
Well, yeah, the toboggan itself is 90 years old. The actual toboggan we raced on, the wood planks.
So a question: new technology coming in and all the reinvention. How does that 90-year-old one hold up to that?
Amazingly well. In fact, we have not raced as fast.
All the wood has like cured in.
Yes, and the poly for years is just wiped on that thing, and it becomes this just gel. It's crazy to see, but very good point. The technology is still very antiquated, right? You know, we're not building. In fact, if you build an experimental sled, is what they call it, which is like perhaps aluminum or metal or something, you're in a different competition. Like you're in the laughing, oh, we'll let you guys go play with your new toys.
Right.
This is now the technology we battle with, and which the main gentlemen and ladies have not allowed us in on, is the coating for the bottom of the sled. And I'll tell you this quick story here real quick. The Maine guys hate us. We race in Maine, Camden, Maine. These guys have the national championship for years. They go to the world championship, which is in Norway. It's every 5 years. This is serious, guys. That really
Goals.
Surprised me too. Right? Yeah. And we have befriended some of these people, you know, and said, hey, tell us your secrets, if you will. And that's closely guarded. These guys come up there, no lie, with trailers that have dozens of different toboggans in them, which are chosen based on the ice conditions after the qualifying rounds. They put up big easy ups and walls so you can't see how they're manipulating the sleds in between races.
It's all secret.
All secret. And so we get these guys, we have a couple of whiskey drinks with them, and they tell us the good secrets. Like, okay, I tell you, like ash wood is very solid wood. That's how they make the sleds out of. But we get to the very end about what is the coating on the bottom. And you can tell that is the secret. And they told us moose juice. Okay, kind of screwing with the Virginia boys. Obviously not moose juice. We tried everything this year. We went to great extents this year to try, and it didn't work. So the quest continues.
Okay, without giving away secrets, like what's the content of moose juice?
Okay, so we don't know.
Just on a broad, like fuzzy, no giving away secrets kind of.
Yeah, so what we figured out, this is very similar to skiing, right? It's what the U.S. national team puts in the bottom of their skis and their snowboards.
Like kind of a wax.
A wax, right? We've done everything. Pledge back in the day was what they were using, like the sleds back in the day. We have tried every single bit different type of wax. We've tried illegal wax. That's no longer allowed.
Whoa.
We could say that.
Watch
We
out.
could say that, because
Illegal wax.
It used to be allowed.
it's like that fluorocarbon. That's what it is. It's that fluorocarbon stuff they keep beneath the counter at the snowboard shop. Like U.S. National can't use it.
Yeah, they used to run HVACs off of that. Or something.
So this is, and I'll say this is funny. So we don't know what moose juice is, and the quest continues, right? And we are on the plane back, I think this year, and we are searching online on Google, and we come to find out that there's this tire lubricant. It's called moose juice. And so now we're in our heads, and we're like, were they telling us the truth? Is this what they're using?
How much does the quart
Yeah.
cost?
Exactly. No, so we may try it, but we've gone back to the drawing board, if you will. We broke both our sleds in competition this year. We have a wonderful toboggan builder. You wouldn't believe this, in Buchanan, Virginia, from Maine. He built 2 brand new sleds for us with all the technology we brought back. And at 40 plus miles an hour, those things snapped in half on the very last day of the competition. It was very dangerous. We could have been hurt. Not his fault.
Like part way through the.
Right at the end, right when you're hitting about your 41, 42 miles an hour, right on the ice, which is no joke when you have 4 people slammed together
Yeah.
and to feel that break underneath you. That's a sensation, right?
Wow.
And then you have to slow down over a frozen lake. So it's something else.
Splintering boards beneath you, just shrapnel and brotherhood and
In fact,
getting there through the ice.
we had a little damage on our main sled, our alpha sled, and we watched our teammates go down and we watched it shatter. And we were going to use that sled that shattered, and we were not going to use the one that had damage on already. It was the quietest walk up to the starting block we've had at our team.
Wow.
All of us didn't want to tell each other, like, we're going to die now.
Yeah.
But we have to do it. Right? We have to do it.
Is in the track, is that just like a rough patch that like really like nails you guys?
It's a chute, and you are at the top, and they drop you. And they drop you fast. And so you go into a 45-degree straight chute down over ice. You reach terminal velocity.
Dude, what kind of adrenaline do you guys have when that race starts, man?
It's crazy. And I'll tell you, this is, I sit behind the pilot. And so I'm probably just, counterweight or something here. But we have a form that we get into. But I'm staring at the sky. And so you can't quite see what's coming at you. And that's a trust. That's a brotherhood trust. You have to get pretty fast. I trust my pilot, Mr. Richard Sink, if he's watching or listening. He's a good guy. But we have a really good time up there. We eat all the lobster. We get made fun of by people from Maine. We race. We don't do bad. And the families come. We're bringing new generations, bringing the kids up to watch us. And they want to race too, but we won't let them do that until, get a little older. Bones get a little stronger.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely sounds like more of a serious sport than you would think when you see images of you guys in your velvet jumpsuits looking real hot online,
Yes.
all over the internet.
Yeah, and the typical Maine humor, the organizer of the competition calls us, I can say it on air, media whores.
You know how to work the camera, Sam.
Wait, these boys from Virginia are fucking killing it?
Yeah, it is fantastic when we walk down the main drag, to our spot, and they're like, oh my God, these guys again. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to win, you got to win with style, right?
We do. And there are these 3 teams that just win. Whiskey on Ice, I'll say their name in the ether here. They're like #1 team. They field all these teams. They're cheating somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're using that tire grease.
That tire grease.
The moose juice.
The moose juice. They
right.
just taunt us. Anyway.
All right. So you haven't
A little
tried
bit of a
that.
rivalry going, huh?
Next podcast, when you come back, you got to tell us, like, was that the secret? And it's been this plain and out in the open the whole time?
Absolutely. And about training, I'll say this Festival Park down the road, we keep looking at Festival Park, if we get that good ice, we got some hills there we can train on.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Adult sledding.
You guys might need to get like a snow machine up there just to make
It is like a ski resort. I mean, if you think about it.
Yeah, dude,
know?
we get a couple of good winters. Like, there's some serious slopes there. I know them
Absolutely.
pretty well.
You do.
Spend
You
some time out there.
absolutely do. Yep.
Well, yeah, thanks for the stickers. And
Yeah, and follow. We're media whores, so you can follow us online, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. And I want to say we have a lot of great sponsors from around here. Old OmniBuild jumped in and sponsored us this year, and so many other ones, and they want to laugh at us just as much as those main guys, so I appreciate that.
Well, I saw that there were certain sponsorship levels that you can get a jumpsuit. So
You can.
if that's still happening next year, I got to jump on that because
The joy,
they look good.
The joy I see that we gave these jumpsuits to our partners, and they're just like wearing them out to dinner, because when you put it on, you don't want to take it off. They're so comfortable.
100% will get you laid.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, this not a big secret here. We have a company we order them from, and after like my 12th or 14th of the month, they're like, what's going on? You selling these in the store? Like, no, sir. Our team jersey.
We just got connections.
Yeah.
I'm working my status level up to get one of those.
Once you pop, can't stop. I'm telling you.
Yeah, part of what I wanted to kind of bring up is FloydFest coming up this year. That's an exciting one. You're a big part of that. You do a lot of the administration. I work with OmniBuild, a little bit of background history. So working with Matt, we were partnering with you guys in a big way to build a new site under, tight deadlines and intense regulation, pushing. And so
I'd say uncharted territory for a lot of us, right? I mean, even though you guys are uber professionals and we'd like to think we are, and what a ride that was.
And fighting the good fight of you guys are, as I understand it, one of the fewer independent festivals in the region, partnering with us in a small town to build the new festival grounds. I mean, that's a big deal.
Huge deal. And I'll just say this, shout out to OmniBuild and all of you guys that joined in. The fact that we became a family, right? That we were able to, that you all took as much ownership of what we were building than the dreams we had going into it. Yeah. And that was huge. And that's not lip service, right? And
shout out to Matt Sebas, because he's a big part of that. I mean, he's like a ride or die kind of guy. So
absolutely. And what I love is you guys just haven't left after the dirt's finished moving.
Yeah.
You're still around. We're still going to see you on the site.
Yeah, so we pushed and got the first festival on grounds up and going, and now you guys are, you're ramping it up. You're doing a whole lot of new stuff.
We are, and a lot of kudos to everyone involved. FloydFest 24 went well, right? It's like pays kudos to all the planning that went in. It was devastating to miss that year, but because of that, we had all the time to try to, really get the details dialed in to the point that we didn't back up the main highway. We kept everyone safe. We were able to rebound from really bad weather coming into the festival, right? And if we did not have a festival that successful to show exactly how we are professional in our own right, and everyone worked very hard to make what we did professional, we wouldn't be in the position we are now to keep moving forward. And that meant the world. That was a pinnacle of our lives.
I don't know that many people can understand and relate to the fact that new site, completely set up, running it the way that you guys did, is unbelievable. I mean, that's crazy to run it without a hitch. I was involved enough with the site setup, the logistics, the VDOT requirements, the environmental stuff, to just see how hard it is to pull it off. And then being at the festival personally and watching it unfold and just being like, this is fucking awesome. It's happening. There's you didn't see everything that locals and the newspapers and everybody had some input on, just wasn't a part of it. It was fucking awesome.
Thank you. And I keep saying this, people don't understand what we do. That's not like a flex in any way, shape, or form. They understand that we are professional down to the minute, right? That we CAD map the crap out of everything, that we look at every single system and we try to break it ahead of the festival and going in there. We are a self-sufficient city. We are obviously the largest city in Floyd when we operate. From the hospital system that we have on site, to the security systems we have on site, to the mental health services we have on site, right? To the sanitation services that we have to provide. And we have spent 2.5 decades honing that in. And that's why we wanted, I think, other people outside places who were going to come in and, I hate to say, judge us or kind of make assumptions, that we have worked and cared deeply about what we do and how we do it. And we really showed that. We have a dream team at Across the Way Productions that have been through hell and back, and we have survived. I'll say this, super, super big kudos to John McBroom and Jessica Taylor. Jessica and I kind of single-handedly had to usher our business through the pandemic, and mainly in those first couple months, where we had to do all the customer service and all the ticket refunds. Not that many, because a lot of people stayed with us. But weathering that, we became stronger as a team. We were able to face the immense challenges. Think about that. You guys are with us, of building a brand new site and then facing a cancellation in 2023 to forces outside of our control. From an emotional standpoint, that would have broken the Sam many, many years ago, but we had something to rest on from 2020 to build on that and to move forward. And knowing that our dream is going to come true, a new site, there are very few people in the music industry that ever get the chance that we got. Huge thanks to John McBroom, huge thanks to Matt Sebas and the crew, to create a blank canvas to say, let's do exactly what we wanted to do. Now it's Floyd, and so it's Floyd flat. So it's not like, but we don't want that. We're music, magic, and mountains, right? We want to build into the mountain landscape, mirror the mountain landscape, celebrate it.
Yep.
So there's inherent challenges with how we don't know about construction in that sense. But
and just to bring up the background, I mean, the previous site, you guys started small festival, kind of just built it every year.
Yep.
And you probably didn't have a clear idea of what size it was going to grow to. So beautiful and magical site, but just logistically and, like right off the Blue Ridge Parkway, which has strict regulations.
Yeah.
It was just a hard site to work with. I know that. So finding the property that you guys did and John McBroom found in Floyd County, I mean, that's no small task. And I guess
it took us a long time.
You said it's Floyd Flat, but it's
more than
it's a beautiful site for what's available and keeping it true to its like original like roots.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point about the old site, which was people tend to forget, and that's totally fine. We built that very incrementally. Like every year we added something new, and we had that. And so when people, first of all, it was a big emotional thing to tell our patrons, who are our family, who are so dedicated to us, that we're moving your home. Like we're uprooting everything and moving it. And no harm, no foul. I think they almost expected it to be like carbon copy moved to the new site, and that we could just do that like right away, instead of incrementally building it.
Yeah.
But thanks to OmniBuild, thanks to John, thanks to our team, we were able to do much more than we thought we could have done.
Yeah.
Right. In that first year and a half to get that going.
And I think the biggest thing was get the infrastructure set correctly, which was establish the roads and the power and all the things that are very hard to pull off. I mean, it took you guys, years and years and years to develop that on the previous site to get that in the first site. And yes, there's still some stages to be built. There's some logistics to figure out, but to get the core and the structure of a safe and fun and like operating festival, I mean, that's cool. I just me being in the meetings, representing OmniBuild, working with you guys in the background, just seeing the level of logistics to crunch through and figure out to work out the new site. I mean, it was fucking impressive, man.
That's great to hear.
Like working with you guys, it was inspiring to just see like you're not only developing a new site, you're building the first festival that is it's just like a separate thing. There's site logistics and all the potentials of like what a site needs. And then there's the reality of like, well, here's our first festival on that site. Yeah. And to work both of those in tandem, I mean, that's some brain power right there.
It's not just the marketing and the music, right? Personal programming is super important to us. But I said this before, I'm blessed enough to teach some classes at ASU, and I tell the kids in music industries, if you want to go in the festivals, you got to get excited about porta potties. That's always my joke, right? is how many and where you need this, whatever. But like, for instance,
it's a big deal.
It's a huge deal, right? Especially for families. You want them to eat, you want them to be able to pee. They've had a long trip in the car. But roads, like, I don't think we ever had a real road at the old site. We would dump gravel every year, just kind of willy-nilly, and just wash down the hill, right? And you just see it go down there. The roads created at this new site was very important to us. The stormwater drainage was very important to us. Stuff that probably would make some of these music industry kids' eyes roll in the back of their head. Like, great, we're talking about, construction now.
Yeah.
That is super, super important, right? The drainage systems you guys put into our fields. We know that because we had FloydFest in 2012, another thing that we've like pushed in the back of our head.
Weather is a fickle bitch, man.
It is. We're farmers. They keep saying that we're farmers. Like we're dependent on the weather.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you probably got a good gauge of this. How many festivals in the area even have an inkling of that challenging of a site? I mean, I'm sure there are, but I've been to so many festivals when I was younger that's like just a big asphalt parking lot that they just set up on. and
Well,
rent
because
the
that's an
space.
easy way to do it. And I hate
Yeah.
to go that like Live Nation. That's what Live Nation is going to choose, right, above a challenging site.
Oh, something that's easy on paper, like, okay, like there's this much parking, it's already figured out. This is what it costs to rent it. And
Because we are looking, and this is truly another thing that sets us apart as an independent, we want this to be a forever home. That's not lip service. Like we want to build a site that we will have in 40 to 50 years that when we're gone, people can come and commune with. With Live Nation or something like that, Bourbon Beyond's a great example. Bourbon Beyond, huge festival, huge gravel, flat parking lot. They could pull up stakes, be gone tomorrow if the business plan didn't make sense, right? Lock-in, we all remember Lock-in in Virginia. They might be doing stuff. That Arrington site in Virginia was an old Burley tobacco farm. It is flat, hottest place on the planet, but they found a flat space that could have egress and ingress that made sense for them, right? It wasn't a reflection or isn't a reflection of the area that you love, which is Floyd to us. We are so Floyd. It's unreal how Floyd we are.
Yeah.
And that's what our site resembles, right? We're gonna make that just from our stages, right? We're gonna make our main stage right now, that beautiful higher ground viewing deck that we have created. It resembles the mountain landscape, right? It's made by local builders. It's just incredible, and people come away with knowing where they are. Like a sense of place is very inherent in what we do, and that's huge. Also, why we wanted, and locals have supported us, right? And when some didn't, you're like, no, but we want to be your best foot forward. Like we want to be the best example of who you are in this sense.
Yeah. Just in my limited experience going to festivals, I've been to quite a few of them that had big headliners and had everything on paper, but it was still miserable. Like it was an experience, and I'm not gonna like take down like what that meant at that time, seeing that performer. But if you balance that to a site like you have now in Floyd, where there's woods camping, there's dynamics, and there's hills, and it's a real landscape, but the magic is just unbelievable. And the magic that I saw in the first year out there, knowing that it's going to expand more, I mean, I don't think that's something that as a large festival builder could be put on paper of like, oh, it's got 60% magic, check. Like, I think that's where you guys, with this site, you can't compete with anything else in the area. It's like, this site is like beautiful.
Well, I thank you for that. We say the site should be a headliner, right? Coming there.
That's what I'm getting at is you guys have such an awesome lineup and do so good with your booking, but part of it is the festival and the mood that creates, and the grounds and the feel and the lights and just the fact that you guys have trees up on the hill, the landscape that you can light up during the performance. I mean, that's like comparable to Red Rocks. That's incorporating landscape.
Well, we hope. We absolutely hope. I will say, Virginia, Southwest Virginia, we have a couple other ones, right, that care about this, and that's why I'm so proud to be part of this music industry or company in Virginia. Jeremiah at Red Wing Roots, I'll say this, is he understands the same thing we do, that the festival site has to be a headliner in itself, right?
Yeah.
And that the other headliner, of course, is community and the people. That you're going to go and have that community you only have at the festival. That's a lot of the time why people come. Like, I don't get upset at our festival when people have little cliques of people that they're spending all their time with and laughing and not paying attention to the music, because that's why they came, for that sense of community. And that's totally fine with me. No judgment here. Just don't talk too loud in front of the stage. But like Jeremiah has Mount Solon and Natural Chimney State Park, where he has these amazing natural spires that he lights up. And he is another independent festival that is friends with us, right? That we communicate. We say, who are you going after this year? Who are you going after this year? So we don't step on each other's toes. So the personal programming complements each other, but it's not a duplicate of each other.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where Southwest Virginia kind of shined, and that's why I'm very proud. We have this bubble of just awesome people and intentions that truly, truly is rare in the United States of America.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges right now in the industry of putting a festival on? 2025?
2025 is a great question. It's a brand new world. The economic, political landscape, more divisive than ever. What's wild about that is FloydFest has always been both sides of the aisle. That we have all sorts of people from both sides of the aisle at our festival. They put on that tie-dyed shirt for 5 days a year and they commune with each other, right? Mm-hmm. And you never have that political nature, and we're continue that. That's very important to us, right? But I think people are more apprehensive than ever about spending that money. We see that in the stock market right now. Ticket sales were very, very strong across the board, across the United States right now. People are waiting longer to make the decision about purchasing because there's a lot of uncertainty, mm-hmm. right? And so that's a huge, huge challenge. That we're in a perfect storm. Artist costs have gone through the roof. This is a personal opinion, but I think a lot of people share this opinion. We have seen the middle class of artists disappear. Either you make $20,000 or less, or you make $500,000 or more. And this is for one night. This is 60 to 120 minutes. Wow. And there's no rhyme or reason. You know, a band that used to be $300,000 last year and now they're $500,000 this year. It's not like they sold more tickets on tour. It's not like they put out a brand new album. It's just agents seeing how much people are willing to pay for that. That's unsustainable, right? We know our ticket prices are not incredibly cheap. They don't come close to covering artist costs. And you can't explain that to people like in a social media and a marketing sense, right? Because we care about artists. We care about our patrons. We don't want to throw one under the bus to like explain the other. We can't be like, oh, we're innocent here. And that's incredible. At the same time, vendor costs from your golf carts to your radios, to your credentials, to your pint cups have gone through the roof, right? And with tariffs coming in, we were talking about this a bit ago, you know, yes, we source so much locally. There are some small things that we get from China, right? And we have
Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you have to. And that's 145% right now going
Maybe
through.
in 8 years, once we've got everything set up in the States.
That's streamlined. But you can't put that all into the consumer, right? You can't outprice the GA patron. Yeah. We say we are a boutique festival, but we are not going to become this VIP only festival. That's not who we are. We want the locals to be able to attend as much as the regional people. So it's a perfect storm of financial woes right now, but I feel we're cutting where we can that won't affect the patron experience, and we're trying to get more creative. With talent buying, we say it in the open all the time. The joke, but we embody it, is we get them on the way up or way down. We have to have more of an effort than ever to find the bands that are unheard of yet that are going to be household names in 2 years. Our predecessors in this FloydFest were very good at that. We have had success ourselves at that, and that needs to continue. That means that it's not the worst problem to have. We get to listen to music all day and all night while we're working all day and all night.
It's part of the job.
Right? And it's something that sticks with you, which a lot are happening these days, sticking with us. We're like, wow, that's going to be something else. And it's all genres too, you know. Some people may look at the middle of our lineup and say, I don't know half the names right there, but you will. But on top of that, you're going to leave the festival loving one of those bands and not being able to take it out of your ears. And that's awesome.
What do you like? What's your litmus test for that realization that musician is on the way up versus just somebody who's great at it, but maybe isn't quite ready to bring into the lineup? Like, how do you guys feel that together as a group or individually? What's your method? And when you're hearing something on the radio or when you're listening in your car and you're like, wait, I got to play that back. There's something there. Like, what's your tell for that?
Well, that's a very good question. First of all, the earworm stuff you can't discount that. Where the ears, you just can't get out of your head and you keep listening to it. I'll admit, heart my sleeve here, I'm one of those guys listen to all types of music, but there's probably a song a week that I can't get enough of that I just put on replay, you know, when I'm getting some stuff done, right? So that stuff, of course. Now, the industry model for many years, one of which was Polestar, which was a way to see how many people were attending shows, paying for shows, right? we do not trust that metric anymore. The reporting is just not where it is anymore. So we're not looking at metrics as much, but we are looking at each other. And I trust my team a whole bunch to tell me what they're enjoying on a daily basis. Us in the music industry, we talk about what's next nonstop, and then we dive a little deeper. And then, not a horrible thing either, we need to go see them live, right? There can be a band that just encapsulate us on Spotify, but until you see how they affect and interact with the audience, that's what FloydFest is about, right? It's about that connection between the artist and the patron. And there's a lot of bands too that may not sound great on Spotify. We saw them live and it's just like, wow, that's just next level.
Yeah.
And there's a couple coming this year, like I'll just say Geese. Okay. I don't know if you guys know Geese. They were on tour with King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And they're from Brooklyn. King Gizzard's from Australia. And I went to see King Gizzard, right? And then Geese just ripped my face off. I was jaw dropped, staring forward. People were talking to me. Couldn't understand what was going on around me. Like, this is something else. And they are metal, hard rock. Like, they are just right here. And we're bringing them. There's something about them, you know?
Yeah.
And by the way, we want King Gizzard one day. Those guys, I mean, they're aliens. Right?
They're bizarre, incredible musicians.
I mean, I've had the benefit of growing up in Floyd County, so I've been to every but one or two Floyd Fests.
Amazing.
And I gotta say, every Floyd Fest, you know, I get intimidated by the lineup of like, okay, I recognize a couple of the main guys, and then I recognize the local guys, and there's this fuzzy middle where I get intimidated of like, I don't know any of these guys. And I know everybody's got their different approaches to this. My brother is like, he'll do the research and he'll listen to them and he'll like have his whole thing plotted out. And I'm on the other side of like, well, I think I'm just going to wander around and see what hits me. And I guarantee, for me at least, every time I'm walking around, I'm like, I stumble across a band. I'm like, holy shit. Like, these guys are killing it. And the best thing is, like, I love seeing a band that I've idolized on the main stage. And that's a huge part for me. But then being on another stage, like the previous Pink Floyd Garden, probably now would be the higher ground stage. Just stumbling across a band over there that I'm just like, it's almost kind of nice if it's a new band for me, and I haven't come across them before, and I don't have expectations set, and I get my mind blown. Like that kind of magic of the interaction. That's where I really get off on. Love it. Like every year Floyd Fest coming up.
And, you know, music is magic. You know this, musicians. Like, it's magic. And one of the biggest gifts of this life is finding that new band. And that's one of the biggest perks of being in the seat I'm in, that Jessica's in, that John's in, is that we get, you know, introduced to all these bands. And so, like, there's 3 or 4 seasons of the year where I have a brand new band, you know?
That's awesome.
And I can't stop talking about it, you know? And, you know, I guess years ago, Goose was that for me. I still love Goose. They've had some interesting times as of late, but I just couldn't stop talking to him, and talked to a really good friend of mine and said, are you getting to this point where you just, you know, every conversation you're just talking about, you know, you brought about dinner and you're like, well, let's talk about Goose a bit, you know? And that's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we got a lot this year. This lineup is packed with a lot of those coming in.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. So, Dan has a media company, and last year we ran the bus stop sessions. Had a blast with that.
And you guys did a great job with it. Serious about that. Great job. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
And he came at the last minute and pulled it off too, right?
You know, part of the magic.
It is part of the magic. It is.
FloydFest magic, you call. And we were there, and it was an awesome opportunity, and looking forward to doing it again this year.
Yeah, man. And the bus sounds good inside, right?
There's something about that acoustic space. I think, you know, it's got this almost cylindrical area to fill, and then just all of the music is just funneled down towards you, and it's rocking. Like, it actually, once the bands are in there, that bus is shaking with energy and rocking back and forth. Where
I was gonna say, there's something surprising about it. Like when you got the like, all right, we're gonna fit you in a bus, and we're gonna record you. Intuitively, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. And then, Hot Tuna, I'll just say that real quick. Remember Hot Tuna? You know, Jefferson Airplane guys. They have the best quote about it too. They said, we got in this bus, looked around, and we thought it was gonna suck. it didn't suck. Yeah, it's like that's right. Anyway,
No, we got some big bands in there last year. They're like Jay and the Causeways and a few other ones. I was like as the audio engineer, I'm like, oh, how's this work? And then by the time you cram everybody in there, it's like there's something like vibrating with it. It's kind of fun.
It's incredible. And I just listened. You guys did an incredible recording of Sierra Hull with Spitfire. And that's been an earworm for me for 2 weeks now. Like
Nice.
I had listened to that album a couple times. When you guys recorded in there, it sounded different, right? And so
Yeah.
I've actually like transferred it, and so I can listen to it all the time in the car and everything. So thank you guys, all that stuff.
Dude, I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man.
It's really cool. I know that we're still not fully locked in on the. It's kind of a surprise on who's going to be on the bus until they show up. Sort of.
We're in a process,
for
right?
us at least.
We're like trying to convince the agents and the artists, and word spreading, right? They're like, this was a really cool thing.
Yeah.
And it'll get there.
Yeah, we all have faith,
Yep.
and then it's great. It's a cool experience. I think everybody had a good time, and it just is it's a fun, unique way to enjoy a festival. And we had a lot of people pop in like in between recording sessions, being like, "What's going on in here?"
And the
They
paint
wanna
job
take
on
the-
it really
yeah.
attracts you to it.
Yeah. Wait, can we come in? And I would always let people come in if it was the right time and take selfies and hang out a
Love
little,
it.
and it was fun.
Love it.
The little shag rug in there, and
Oh, there's a vibe.
there's
And-
definitely vibes.
Yeah, and it's really beautiful. The artist who originally sold me the bus, and shout out to my wife who's happy that it's not in my yard anymore. But he designs the outside of it every year now, and I think that's really fun for him to be able to come back and commune with his art project.
Is he going to be doing more to the design this year?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
we can't
cool.
keep him away. Like on the
That's awesome.
exterior, right? And then our art team, I think, is going to come in and do a new interior for you guys.
Cool.
But it's a collaborative art project.
Yeah, it
right?
really
It's
is.
always what we wanted, and I think it is going to live in that forever home, mostly because it can't start. But I think it's a good place for it.
Unless when we get a big enough band, it just like rolls away somewhere else,
Yep.
because that thing was definitely rocking.
When you guys make it big, maybe you can put a new engine in there and move it somewhere else.
Absolutely. And I do want a stage. I think, guys, if we put some on an outdoor stage in a future year or something,
Oh, yeah.
wrapping our head around that,
Yeah.
right?
I get the feeling we'll keep building it every year. I'd love to incorporate some podcasts. Dude, the bus's location, like just when you're coming in, it's just an eye catcher of like, oh, what's going on there? It's not necessarily right now that people are invited into the session. But last year when we had bands playing, it was like everything's open. We had people start to like be outside and like check in and see what's going on.
Love it. And it was
like-
hidden at the last site. It was like down the hill. People had no idea the entire festival, like it was there.
Probably good for audio and video,
Yeah.
but
You guys are doing the Lord's work.
yeah,
I'm sure.
I wasn't going to dig
in
into it.
between sound checks and big bands on the other stage that was 50 yards away. But
Yeah. We warned you a bit, but we had no idea. You guys are the sound guys.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for all the potential with that to keep building it. It's going to be really awesome.
Yes, we want to keep it going. Just another thing, hopefully, that we can hang our hat on to make it a little more unique, the FloydFest experience.
Yeah, well, and what I've enjoyed about seeing the songs release between the festivals, it's like a recap. It's like a refresher of like, hey, here's some of the bands that were there, and it's maybe bands that people hadn't seen during the last FloydFest, and just like oh shit, I missed out on them. Hopefully, there's them or another band that I can enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, and then it's an archive. It's almost like StoryCorps and NPR.
Yeah.
I think at some point, and even the bands that have been there in the past. We mentioned Hot Tuna, but like 49 Winchester came in there years ago, and now those guys are huge, right? And they played this song that at the time, I remember I was being pretty upset about. Like they didn't bring the whole band; they just brought Isaac and like a keyboard, and I was like, okay, you guys don't care. And they put together the song that brought tears to my eyes, and now it's one of the biggest songs they have, like on the radio. Those guys are skyrocketing, and I think we'll look back and all those special moments that we were able to capture. That's really important to me.
Yeah.
that's so cool. Yeah, we had people that were congregating outside the bus during each take for the bands. So I could see over the years some modifications where maybe there's a live feed of the video going out, so maybe a little audio mix going out to some PA. I don't know if that would mess with the. Maybe it would. Maybe at least the video.
You're adding to my workload right here.
Well, I mean, come on, you got to grow.
You got to think big. You got to think big.
Yeah, but
And the bands, when they get on, are they nervous with you guys?
nah,
No.
no, they're pros.
That's the fun thing is like like working with everybody and Sierra Hull, like it's an odd situation, and I feel like that kind of makes a bit of magic.
Maybe that
for,
does.
like a cool
little
setting.
unassuming kind of thing. Like, hey, let's do it. Why not?
I definitely take pride in that ability to kind of get people ready for, rolling.
Love it.
So some people would roll off their tour bus just frazzled and, needing to leave or not having eaten or their flights were delayed or whatever issue brought them to that moment. So yeah, you would have to kind of buffer them to be ready sometimes, but these people, they're professionals. They know what to do when it's time to
And then
start
once
playing.
Dan starts soothing the whole situation over with his silky voice, he's like, "Hey guys, we're gonna get you set up. This is gonna be stellar."
I'm on my radio. Where's the water? We need beer. What's going on here? My cooler is warm.
See, I know you guys are perfect guys for the job. Makes me feel much better.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I liked the chaos and the serendipity of that whole event of coming together and just like it all synced up and worked out.
It's
And
like a little mini festival, organized chaos.
yeah, so right up my alley.
Yeah. Well, we'll get those new guys for this year signed up. I know we're working with a bunch of them. Try to get them in there.
So what are some new features of the festival that we're working on, for previous year people that might have gone and what they can look forward to for the next year?
Great
You wanna
question again.
Comment on that?
We care deeply about the patron experience, and we do those patron surveys. And I always say this: I hate emails. It's basically what I do all day. But if I get a survey by email, I can't hit delete fast enough. And our patrons so many people fill out these surveys, and they just don't fill them out. They annihilate these surveys. They give us the details, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that's fine, right?
Which all sides are good.
Right? And so we take this, and we cull it down in our retreat every year after the festival, and we kind of make a top 10 hit list. We listen to everything, right? And it became extremely important to us this year. We probably had to forego the main stage build. And in lieu of that is to do a bunch of smaller, if you will, they're not that small, projects to improve the patron experience. Transportation on the site. Now, first of all, I want to caveat this, and I'm consistently reminded by my staff about this, is we have to remind people we're not going to always put you in a tram or a wheelchair or a car and put you somewhere. There's going to be some walking, right? But we have trail builders, right, they're working very hard to improve what we have, and there's a certain mountain that's part of our festival brand that we want to maintain.
Once you get up on the mountain, it's
perfect.
It's perfect.
And we're making people, get pretty fit. I'm getting pretty fit or fitter, maybe not. But transportation is a big thing. We are going to have more trams this year.
Nice.
We're going to have more streamlined tram routes, right? It's going to be a little easier to figure out than like a riddle puzzle to where you're going to go, and we're going to get you there quicker. But in addition to that, we are building a road to higher ground, the wonderful viewing deck we've had up there. And that's going to be a tram service road. And it was wild to see the piece de resistance of the festival, the higher ground viewing deck, not be packed the entire time. And some of that was because people couldn't get up there, right? We learned that. And so we're going to separate pedestrian traffic from the tram traffic. The tram will go from basically the first bridge you get to in the festival site, and it'll go all the way up and have a stop at the very tip top up by the vendors. So you can walk this downhill through the vendors to the higher ground viewing deck and stage. We think that's going to be a game changer.
Nice.
In addition, it'll continue down the hill.
And that's the approach of the higher ground stage too.
Yeah, so you get to see that view, right? You know that view.
Soak it in.
It's unreal. So we'll go down the hill as well to take you to the food court on stage right, house left, where the Children's Universe was. So you'll have that connection point, right, going there. Now that we're in the main field, let's talk about that. One of the calling cards of FloydFest from the absolute very beginning was the closeness between the patron and the performer. And at the new site, Festival Park, we did think it was very cute and very fun. We still kind of do, to have that moat in front of the main stage. That is unique, right? It's very much showcases and brings nature into the conversation. We did realize that was too far of a distance. There was a lot of things that had to do with that, which was the setback of how our temporary main stage had to be, a buffer to make sure that people didn't just jump inside the water, because we're very concerned about protecting our waterways. And OmniBuild, et cetera, came through with an incredible solution to this. And we have protected the stream bank now, but we have built this curved walkway on the patron side with this wonderful steel barrier right in front of it, but you can still see down on the water, and it follows the contours of the creek, which is incredible, right?
Yeah.
And so you're actually kind of cantilevered or seemingly cantilevered over the water, right? You can look down at the water, and we went basically from 55 feet between artist and attendee to 18 feet. So
Yeah.
it'll be significant change.
And
Nice.
just from a technical point, that stabilizes the creek bed, so it's not gonna walk and re-divert the creek
Yep.
over, with heavy rainfalls and all that. It actually protects that whole creek side environmentally.
Yep.
And from a festival's perspective of access to seeing the performance.
Like it checked all the boxes, right? We're protecting the environment or maintaining that, and then also improving the patron experience. So
Yeah.
when people see that, I think it's going to be all inspiring. You move up to the depot, our wonderful kind of one-stop shop. It's another place that I hope people will spend more time at this year. Yes, it's a little bit of a walk up there, but it really is the family hub for canopy camping, for unpowered RV, for VDub. We have put garage doors on it, which are very sexy. We have built an even sexier fire pit across from there, which will be maintained, a pick and porch, if you will, going in there.
Nice.
And we're kind of excited to say we're going to have some DJ sets
No.
in the depot this
Really?
year. And it's not EDM DJs.
Oh, okay.
I know.
We could get you some if you need.
Absolutely sure.
I know people.
I'll start practicing.
So, but one of them is one that I'm pretty obsessed with too, Stimulator Jones.
Oh,
Yeah, coming
Watch
up
out.
there. So this is going to be a whole new vibe.
So is this stage going to go a little later than the other ones, or what do you know the time?
Well, good question. Well, because of our ordinance, sound ordinance, we can't do amplified music past midnight on Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, 2 a.m. on Friday, Saturday,
Okay.
which was new to us. We were in Patrick County before where
Right.
just no rules.
Wow.
So, but anyway, they will probably be complimentary. They'll do a couple like 2-hour sets, like towards the end of the evening to set that vibe up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do expect people to be playing acoustic music around that new fire pit up there. And there's small logistical changes you guys will see. And there's a big surprise that I cannot speak about right now, which is probably the biggest one, which is a relocation of our Oasis stage. And it is going to, I'll say this, I'll just hint it up, is it harkens back to the sexiness of the brand of our Old Hill Holler. Our Old Hill Holler was kind of the favorite main stage. I don't want to get Dreaming Creek all jealous over here and stuff, but Hill Holler was where a lot of the magic, that's where Phil played, that's where Goose played, that's where Marcus King brought down the house, where Billy Strings just lit things on fire.
Wow.
And it became our favorite stage. The positioning of that, the vibe of that, we've achieved, in my opinion, with the Oasis. I can kind of give away this little hint is that the VIP experience we've been known for, I get like chills when I think about this, from the very beginning. By the way, we don't achieve that by having like 14 different strata of VIPs, like VIP 2, VIP Extra, Super VIP and stuff. It's just one VIP program, and it's awesome, right? But one of the calling cards of that was being backstage, right? You get to interact with the artists. We had that last year, but the artists weren't as inclined because of just location to be back there the entire time because it was somewhat separate, right, from the stages. I can give you the hint there that we're achieving that with this new layout. And I'm very excited about how the VIP experience will be elevated once again to those epic levels. And me and the team have this other kind of crazy idea that we will work on and that Matt's going to help with about a viewing area for VIPs, which will be unrivaled along with this new stage. It's going to make these stages just shine, and we love lights, and they'll also bring this new level of lighting that we can do on there where I can say if you're going to be standing at nighttime on the higher ground viewing deck and staring out, it's going to take your breath away. It's the vision we always wanted from that viewing deck.
Nice.
And to be able to do this, it's taken a lot of clever people, a lot of smart people, a lot of work. And we're doing it, damn it.
What's that like when you get to the festival after a year of toiling, or in some cases when there was a delay, multiple years of just like fighting upward, uphill to get this thing made, and then you're there What's that feeling like for you guys when you're like as a team at Across the Way and at Festival Park and FloydFest? Like, do you have, I mean, a way to describe your emotions or your mindset once you're in it? Because I remember I would see you on site and go like, you know, wave at you, but I didn't actually talk to you until the end of the festival because you're buzzing.
Oh, you're working.
You're just like all over the place. You got 6 walkie-talkies and side by side, and
I'll tell you this. Someone just said to me actually in government recently up here that they expected me to let my hair down during the festival, like that I got to that point, right? And that no harm, no foul, but they assumed that I'd be like in a beer garden, like cheersing everybody, like, look at this, look at this. We're nonstop, right? We can all kind of relate to this. Is like, I have a task list the size of Texas going into the festival. There's a certain beautiful point when Wednesday hits where there's like 4 tasks that just aren't going to get done, and I can throw that piece of paper away. But my other task list for during the festival just grows.
It just starts over.
And there's a mania to it, right? Of always trying to keep up with what needs to be done. There's a mania in allowing yourself not to be a micromanager, to say, my team has this. They're trained enough to have this. I don't need to attend to every single situation. There's a level of reminding yourself to take care of yourself. My wife's very good about this for me, like drink water, eat, right? But there's this fight or flight, right, that takes over. It's unlike any other feeling I've ever had. It's a buzz within itself. I've said this from day one. I'm not a musician, but I have my dream job. I've known that I've wanted to do this my entire life, and that buzz just increases. But the long-winded pull back to your answer there is, I don't know what to say to people exactly, right, when I'm in there. This is all coming together. My dream's all coming together. I take a couple moments and make sure that I'm free from everything, and I find a peak, another bonus of having the mountains, and I take some deep breaths and I commune with myself, like a weird, frantic meditation. And I look out.
For 3 minutes, but in the time
and then it just goes back, right? But there's just so much going on that I'm not sure that I'm the best person. Like, for instance, we are blessed to be able to welcome people on stage. I make sure I get myself in the right mind frame to be an MC or to have that welcome to everyone. But other than that, it's eye on the prize, right? And I guess this is not, it's an odd thing to say, but number one job is keep people safe. I am always in that framework that we can handle whatever's going to come next. And my mentors have taught me that in the industry, the good ones. And I want to embody that, that we're ready to tackle a situation so that everyone else can have the time that they're promised to have, right? That's their sanctuary. That's their time. It is not about us. And that's the joy that I pull out of it. It's a wild come down on Monday. It is wild, and the moment people leave, it's not post-party depression. It's like I don't know. It's ethereal, it's otherworldly. It's
I don't know if you can even define what it is.
I can't. I'm a words guy. I don't even think I did good at all.
Well, you're holding space for thousands of people to be safe and to enjoy themselves and to take away from the place and the experience something that you hold so dearly, and everybody involved in the festival, that whether it's volunteers or vendors or artists or people from your organization, everybody's invested in it. And I can relate being at a festival and being on the staff side or on the behind the scenes. You get to enjoy it. You get to unplug a little bit, but the more levels of engagement you have, the more walkie-talkie radio stations you have to tune into.
Yes.
The less of your own frequency you get to kind of tap into and pull away. So you got to get those 3 minutes of frantic breathing, and so you can but maybe at the end, because that's when I saw you on the higher ground pavilion, I was, oh, hey man, this is so much fun. Thanks for having us. And you're like, let's get a beer. This is the first time I had a beer the whole time.
That was Sunday.
Like, what?
That was Sunday. It was.
Because I had a beer. I don't, obviously, running the bus stop, that's just, there's responsibility there, but it's not 24/7 for the whole festival and all leading up to it. It's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot to hold that. And so I can imagine that ethereal feeling you're talking about that's hard to put to words is probably pretty incredible that you share that with your team, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I will say this is that I have many faults. I was a micromanager for many, many years, right?
It's a hard thing to let go.
It is, man. And I believe so much in the team we have now that there was a couple times this year that my radio stopped going off. And they tell you the weirdest thing that I realized was...
Did my battery die? What's wrong?
Yeah, so I have a battery bank that I've been given for years and years. And it's got like 8 of these puppies in there, right? And it's just going through it. I mean, it's mania, right? And I had realized that I hadn't changed my battery that day, you know? And it was like dusk was coming down.
And you're like, I think we made it.
I think we did it. And then all of a sudden it was like frantically going department to department, like, you guys are okay, right? You know, like this isn't, and then you just like checking the radio, like this is probably broken. Like, you know, give it back to me. But that's a beautiful thing, right? That I'm getting to a point where, and I'm not like the top, like there is a team of us who are the top dog. And I can say that we have this dream team. And I will note too, I don't know why I always note that, but we have a predominantly female team. And I'm so proud of our entire holistic team that we've put together. These are the best in the business, right? And I could absolutely not even closely do this by myself or like anywhere remotely by myself. I want to give more props again to Jessica Taylor, who is a genius in her own right.
Badass.
And who is the one who can tamp me down and bring me back to reality, right? You know, when I'm going off the rails, and I hope I do the same for her. But that's what I'm saying is, and she is a local person. John is a local person. We have so many on our ranks that are from this area and have grown up and learned with this. And that's what I think makes it special. We are not a bunch of hired hands like Live Nation is, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You know, that it makes life eclectic. Right. But there's so much local talent that's been able to be tapped by this organization. And that will be one of the legacies, I think, moving forward.
I was going to comment on the fact that you guys are not sitting back and having drinks and enjoying the festival like you guys are in it. You're a part of it. The as intense as the whole year of planning up to it is, and I've seen this personally, the whole year planning up to it is for you guys to perform during the festival. So you almost have to be hydrated, batteries charged, shit ready to go, because that, you know, everything, it's almost like an entire year's worth of work lead up to 5 days of just being on it, making sure shit's handled. And it's intense. I mean, it's hard enough with perfect weather and perfect situations logistically to make everything work. And then when there's weather, there's unforeseen things, you guys have to be ready to act on it. And I think I give huge kudos to seeing it personally to you guys for prepping yourself for the year and having the ability to just like fire off on those 5 days. It's crazy, man.
It takes a lot of emotional fortitude. And I'll say one of the many things I've learned from this was, and I hate the word trickle down, you have to take care of your psyche too. Like if there is something that is very serious going down and I freak out, that trickles down to many different levels, and then things start to fall apart.
That's where I get from, like, you guys gotta be hydrated because you gotta be the cool heads of the entire thing.
Yes. And I've learned a lot about that, to not show anything. And that's helped. It's helped in a lot of situations, us get through them. But the weather, that's the other thing too. If that weather comes, I'm in it. You know, of course, when we have like a lightning strike, we're not in that thing and stuff. But, you know, you get out there and you make sure that people see that we're going to get wet. Because we're going to continue what we're doing and keep you safe.
Dude, and that's the cool thing about this new site is I saw the setup of you guys had a chance to reinvent your safety, your entrances, your emergency exits. All the site logistics are set up so much better than the previous site. Yep. And really like a lot of intention going into it. And, you know, we're close by as far as Omni build. I mean, you're off of a major highway. So you have a lot more just safety as far as the festival goes, where you can evacuate, you can deal with, you know, if you need to get gravel trucks in, all of that. I mean, it's something that I feel like not a lot of people think about with going to a festival, but from a safety standpoint, you guys have taken 10 huge steps up on this.
Oh, absolutely. You're exactly right. And having like Omni Build and this low community around that are those heavy equipment operators, that are the people who can solve a problem that we needed done correct. There was an emotional time last year where we needed to have gravel dropped, massive amounts of gravel dropped in a very delicate situation, right? Where there's going to be patrons around, just done perfectly, right? Yeah. And then you go to the unified command structure, which I am very proud of for FloydFest, which is all of our law enforcement, our EMS, our emergency management, all work together and communicate together.
They all had an opportunity to weigh in on the setup of this festival. That's huge.
It's huge. And that goes back to the old festival. We tell the story all the time that we would be working with many different state agencies and law enforcement agencies, and they, no harm to them, foul themselves, were not able to communicate to each other because they were on different radio wavelengths. So like Floyd County Sheriff's, by accident, just an example, would close down one highway. Virginia State Police would not know that was going on, and that caused all these trickle-down issues for the festival. We got them in the room. We got them on the same comm channels. Yeah. Tomorrow morning, I'm heading to Festival Park to meet the comm people from Roanoke and Blacksburg and Floyd so that we can all put together the program ahead of time, right? And that's incredible. You know,
it's huge.
When we're able to not only, last year, we were able to mitigate some medical problems that people had, which we had no relation to the festival, but they had attended the festival. They had come down to a point that they needed medical treatment. Because of the systems we put in place, we were able to get them to a medical facility much faster than they would have if this was regular old day in Floyd and they were in that location. And that stuff means the absolute world to us. We joke we're the biggest hospital in Floyd, only hospital in Floyd, but we do have like 2 landing zones, you know, for helicopters that are on call. Yeah. We have 100 medical professionals on site at any given time. We can treat broken limbs, right, up to probably a heart attack if we had to inside the facility at all times. And that's next level stuff. Like I say sometimes that we're going into battle. I kind of tell my staff about that, and that's why I love these guys. There's no one I'd rather go into battle with. I know when the shit gets weird at 11:45 p.m. that I can look at somebody on my staff and like we can just do a couple eye movements and know that we're going to take care of the shit, right? And it goes to the other part too with medical, with law enforcement. We're all working the same. It's a beautiful damn dance.
What are a few of the bands you're looking forward to seeing this year? You want to preview like some personal taste? I mean, I know you're booking for the whole festival, so there's that. But what personally, like, what are you kind of excited about?
Okay, well, I will throw out there Geese. I gotta say, these guys ripped my face off, and I can tell you. Let's go back to patron surveys real quick. Is that there was a lot of people that said they wanted stuff that's harder.
Oh.
And it sounds almost like I'm just getting like a ha, but like, careful what you wish for. Okay, but they are melodic in the same sense. Like there's meaning towards them. Purposeful programming is big to us, right? Lamp, okay. I am, shocker, an old jam band guy. And the jam band world, I'll say it right now, it's weirdly no heir apparent. I mean, we have Goose, it's like way up here. Still have Mo and Humphreys and Pigeons and stuff down here, and nothing against those guys. Right. But that's not the vibe that we're kind of hitting for. Well, Lamp came out of nowhere. One of my good friends throughout, Justin Altus, introduced me to these guys. These are members of Joe Russo's Almost Dead and of Trey Anastasio Band. By the way, we need Trey Anastasio Band to play at the festival. I'm sure people listening will need to get that done. These guys, it's jazz, fusion, jam, and it is unreal, right? There's no lyrics. These guys ripped my face off twice going to see them live.
Nice.
And I could tell you when we called them up to play the festival, they're in huge bands, right? But it's almost like they don't take Lamp, their band right now, seriously. You know, they're like, oh, this is just whatever. Like, no, we want you to play a festival, right? Like these guys still are selling. I bought Justin, my friend, a t-shirt from them or sweatshirt on Bandcamp, and it came and it had like one of their personal Gmail addresses. You know, like they're not taking it seriously. And what's beautiful was we booked them, and now all these other festivals are booking them, right? And that's one of the reasons why we're trying to do what we're doing. We're like, hey, that's an heir apparent. That's awesome. So do not miss Lamp. I think they're playing Higher Ground in Canopy Grove. Incredible band.
Nice. Cool.
We're bringing back Big Something. Big Something is the North Carolina jam band, been around forever. They have played our festival many, many years ago. And purposeful programming, I'll go back to that, is it's not who you bring, it's how you bring them. And they are going to play this new Oasis, who I keep telling you about, to close out one of the nights, and it's going to be a damn party. I mean, it's going to be an hour and a half party, perfectly timed, I believe coming after Mount Joy, which...
Nice.
And guys, Mount Joy, right, that's for the younger kids, right? No, but we love them too. And we had them on the radar for many years to come. They are massive. I don't know if we understand. Like, I didn't quite understand how big they are, right? Multiple Red Rocks sold out. And when I saw a live show of them, I didn't see it in person. It took our team's breath away from the first notes of hearing people know every lyric, emphatically sing every lyric back to the stage. It reminded us of the Lumineers and Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros, those days of when these bands really held the fans in their hand and did it right? And so damn excited to bring them and see that. And make no mistake, we need to bring in younger fans too. We can't just I'd be happy if it was our family the entire time, FloydFest family, but it's always good to have new people there. And we're hoping the younger crowd comes for that. Femi Kuti, Afropop, Afrobeat,
Cool.
means the absolute world to me. It's the backbone, of course, of so much. And 2017, we brought him on the main stage, just tears in the eyes, crazy good, right? And to have him back, oddly enough, but not oddly enough, opening up for Warren Haynes is going to be incredible. In fact, they've played together before, so
nice.
Perhaps that could happen. You guys might be one of the first places that we announce this, and depending when it comes out, but the Buffalo Mountain Jam means the world to all of us. To give a little history there, Greg Allman was going to play, let's see, this is 2017 or 18. We had his entire band set up on the main stage. We are 45 minutes to go until Greg Allman gets up there. And he fell gravely ill. Ended up passing away shortly after. But he was airlifted out of, on the way to the festival, airlifted out. And Chris Hodges and myself, Keller Williams, were in the old admin house. And I give Chris credit. He pulled me in there as the marketing guy and said, we have to figure out something to do here, right? Our headliner, right, is sick and gone. And within 20 minutes, the heads together came up with the Buffalo Mountain Jam. Mountain Jam is one of the most famous Allman Brothers songs and jams of all times. Buffalo Mountain is synonymous with Floyd. We put it together, and Keller and Leftover headed it up and called everyone they possibly could. I get chills right now thinking about that, to put together the Super Jam.
Nice.
And it was, not one person complained that Greg Allman wasn't there, right? We didn't make an announcement like, one of our icons is about to pass away or something. It was like, he's unable to perform. Yeah. And we have this wonderful set we're going to put out for you guys. And that was one of those pinnacle moments of my memories of FloydFest. It's continued every single year. And this year, I guess the news I'm telling you guys is we're passing the torch of leadership to Caitlin Crisco. Caitlin Crisco and the broadcast, they've been a part of our web of our family forever. She's an incredible vocalist. And she's also a connector. It's all about relationships, right? Yeah. You cannot meet Caitlin and not fall in love with her. She's just a beautiful, beautiful person. And it's about time that we have her curate something from that. And so she's going to be ahead of the Buffalo Mountain Jam this year. And she's starting to get the contacts out. We're also, normally some of the background in the music industry is kind of faceless, that we have to go through agents and can't really speak to the artists. She has those relationships with the artists. So she's going to be speaking to people she thinks is a good fit for it. Nice.
Right? That's great.
Yeah. So we're letting her take the reins of that. It's going to be a good year.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Special thing.
It's cool to build stuff like that.
It is.
And man, some of the best shows I've had are the ones where a couple of them, the power drops out and the band says, oh shit, what are we going to do? Well, the acoustic guitar player and the singer steps up front, and some of those moments are like
it's those
better
memories,
than ever.
Right? The memories come out of tragedies from FloydFest. As much as we talk shit about FloydFest, people say that's my favorite festival ever, right?
That's real shit right there.
It is. And then like the power, we lost power those 2 times. Yeah. And how funny when you just said that, the power thing. We lost power this past year at the beginning of the festival.
I remember that.
And I totally blocked that out until someone said to me the other day, and I'm like, wow, that really is suppression.
There was a whole conspiracy online about that on Facebook too, where there's a group in town, and everybody was thinking that the festival made all of the power in the whole region go out.
You sucked up the entire power from Virginia, and
I remember talking to some of the engineers that worked on the project, and they were like, "There's no way."
Yeah, and guys, we're running on generators mostly.
Yeah, most of it was run on generators, and then something about the amount of amps was only equivalent to a few homes or something like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
So
And that's happened to us so much. The funny anecdote I'll say about that is the last festival at the old site, FloydFest 22. Wednesday mornings like that's battle. That's D-Day, getting everybody in that thing. And they had kept all the Wi-Fi at the old site runs off of my RV. And so they had kept a generator running into my RV as a backup. And we lost all that power. I don't know if you remember that last one. It was out for 6 hours to the point that we had to make some calls, like some big higher up calls. And I remember coming out that morning just chipper and fresh, like had a shower, got my coffee and all stuff. Like, what's going on, guys? They're like Zombieville out in front. They're like, we haven't had power for 8 hours. Okay, this is a situation. Like the cops are surrounding the place. Like, okay, that's why generator.
Best thing you can do is stay off of Facebook.
Oh gosh, yeah, you never comment.
yeah, speaking of some news that I saw when I was looking stuff up about the festival and festival life culture. And maybe it's changed since then, but I was looking and there was a lot of articles around sort of the fear that a lot of festivals were shutting down across the country over, maybe it had to do with COVID and things like that. And I wasn't sure what your take on that was, if there was something like some movement happening or just some trend, or if there was more of a bigger sort of thing at play happening in the industry.
It's a very interesting question, very interesting phenomenon, because I do believe there's been like this span of like from like Woodstock or like the Summer of Love before to like now, the glory days of the music festival. Mm-hmm. And they're definitely, when FloydFest began the same year as Bonnaroo in 2002, there is an argument that was the most perfect time to start a festival. That's when, right following 9/11, that we needed more of a sense of community again. Right. And there was this skyrocket tendency in those next 10 years of festivals popping up everywhere. Then we saw them die off. And it was surprising to all of us to see post-pandemic, more of these festivals coming up. There's a lot, we believe, I guess, there's a lot of ego involved in some of these festivals. And I'll keep going back to it takes people willing to understand that it's not ego. Your number one job is to keep people safe, and your number one job is to really just think about all the things behind the scenes that no one has to care about. There's a festival that I won't name right now that's given people a bad name to the east of us in Virginia, a very large festival, rock festival. And they, for 3 years in a row, have forgotten to get water. Okay, so they've invited 40,000, 50,000 people plus to their grounds, but they've not thought about the water infrastructure for these people.
They got beer though, right?
They got beer.
Okay.
Well, all right, because they're making some money. And they do not have an inclement weather plan, emergency action plan that is worth its weight, right? That really takes everything into account.
Yeah.
They ended up putting a lot of people in danger. They have ended up selling a bill of goods to a lot of their patrons who do care deeply about that music and who will continue giving them money, and then they will squander it and they will not give refunds. What that has done is put emergency management agencies, et cetera, on alert, right? It gives us a bad name, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so you can almost give a little bit of like grace to some of these people looking in, like, oh, are you this type of person? So we did have to prove to them, no, we care deeply about the right things for the right reasons.
Yep.
And thankfully that festival's gone away. But we are seeing these festivals that just are for maybe an ego-driven purpose or a money grab. And let me just tell you the guys this right now. This is not the business to get into to get rich. In fact, there are bankers who look at like the actual best case scenario of what we do, and they're like, that's how much you can make? And we're like, yeah, it's
pretty cool, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a labor of love.
No, but we get to listen to music.
Yeah, exactly.
You get those bankers to come check out the festival.
We do. And guess what? All of our bankers come to the festival. They love it. They see it. They're like, this is cool, right? But that's where I think people see, I mean, gosh, let's just say Fry Festival. I mean, that's all the things I'm speaking about.
Fire Festival?
Fire Festival.
Yeah. Because aren't they putting on the second one now?
Second one now.
After he got sued and had
to think that people are giving him money. They're like, oh yeah, this will be better now.
Well, there's already scandals in it. I didn't look too deep into it, but there's already issues.
They got and once again, it goes back to permitting. You wouldn't, it's fine, everybody, but you wouldn't believe the amount of permits we have to pull every single year through our festival. And if you do not get ahead of those things, right, and know that you have to do it, those agencies don't think that you're taking them seriously, and it's not an easy road past that. And all of a sudden, you do not have the ability to throw a festival, and you've put a lot of people's money, hard-earned money, at risk. Yeah. And so that's what we're seeing. There are festivals popping up everywhere. There's festivals going away everywhere because of this. And there needs to be more of a communication. We have this in Virginia, too. We own our weekend, if you will, in the Southeast. Like, our last weekend, July, people know they're not going to throw a festival around us. But we have like a sister festival, which is much bigger and one would say better than us, which is Newport Folk Festival. So they're far enough away in our radius clause that we are able to share some artists with them. They are just an institution. We have nothing but great things to say with those guys. But it's that symbiotic relationship. There's a lot of festivals we see in other states that are thrown up on top of another festival. You're like, how much audience do you guys think you have that you're going to go to both of these events and then both of them die off? So I could go on for days about that.
Yeah. Does it have anything to do with like the big business of festival or Live Nation getting involved in all of this?
Absolutely. You know, I speak about a lot. We estimate now, I actually had these conversations, kind of refresher course I think about every week. About 82% of live music events are owned by Live Nation. 18% are us, the independents. And Live Nation often lacks a lot of identity and branding and, in my opinion, at times care in how they throw an event. And that doesn't create a lifelong fan base, right? That doesn't have what we have, which we're so blessed for, is these people who believe that we're going to do the right thing year after year. Mm-hmm. And independents take care of each other en masse, right? We do communicate with each other. We're not the women behind the curtain where we're like, you can't get to us to talk to us. Now, these things make a lot of money, right? And because, guys, let's be quite honest, it's a monopoly, you know, with Ticketmaster involved of the whole thing. That means they have many other sources of revenue. That means they can pay people higher than we can ever pay people. That means they can go to artists and say, you are not playing the independent event. You're going to play us. And you can't blame an agent for saying yes to that, because all of a sudden they have checked that box on their job description of, I'm making the most amount of money for this artist as possible. But I would like to think, for instance, that FloydFest is a tastemaker festival, and we have been called that in prior years before, which means a lot, where it's a stepping stone, right? Yeah. We know that we want to get you up to that big level, but we want to take care of you at FloydFest and put you in front of our audiences, because our audiences truly care about the musician and the artist. They're listening, and they become your lifelong fans. I'm not saying that people who go to Live Nation events are not those people. I'm saying a lot of us who do care about that stuff are forced to go to Live Nation events and forced to pay those prices for those tickets, forced to buy an alcoholic beverage for $18. Guys, I was reading this morning about Coachella. No harm, no foul, Coachella, right? You got a hell of a good job over there, guys. But those drink and food prices are astronomical, like tacos and lemonade for $102. You know,
wow,
it's just crazy stuff. Like that. So anyway, I could go on. Live Nation, I hope the pendulum will swing, right? That I hope that we get back to more of these independent events that can take care of independent artists. And that means a lot.
What's it going to take for that pendulum to swing, do you think?
That's a good question, too. I personally can't wrap my head around the high artist costs right now. And I think there has to be a reckoning of that, where at some point, the cost-benefit analysis, you know, the P&L just doesn't work anymore, and that we have to right-size those artist costs. I think that will change things a bit. When us independents are allowed to have names that are slightly bigger, right, to pull in some other faces on their heads, we can do it. Live Nation, to some degree, is predatory against us independents, right? That, make no mistake, there is no retirement plan for us. You know, like, I'm in this for the rest of my life. And there's a lot of people in my situation that probably would be like, well, in 10 years, if Live Nation comes knocking and gives a really good price, I have to take it. And so that's where we're at with it. I just know, in a desperate, beautiful sense, we have to keep going. Like, it is something that is like one of my lifebloods of, like, independents have to exist. If we become all Live Nation, that we'll lose something incredibly special that is just as important to the music. And I think they miss that at every turn.
I think that's an important message to get out, because, I mean, so many people have been to the festivals that you're talking about, where it's everything's on paper, it's there, but it's like, I think I said this before the podcast, where I've gone to those and the band shows up and they perform and everything is there, but man, the vibes and the situation is so uncomfortable, and water's $8 a bottle, beer's $16. And it's just, you kind of leave there feeling like, yeah, I think I checked a box of enjoying this, but I don't know if I really did.
Yep.
And it's not comparable to a private owned, love infused festival like you guys are doing.
My best friend actually just St. Augustine last week saw Marcus King, and he loves Marcus King. I love Marcus King. Yeah. And I said, hey, how was the show afterwards and all this stuff? And he took a moment and a breath and stuff, and it was a beautiful compliment. He said, I just don't think after seeing him at Hill Holler, at FloydFest, that compares, right? And it lacked like the brand or the art, the identity of that night and that. And what a lot of that comes back to is purposeful programming. And I can't take credit for that, right? That was inherent in the very beginning days of FloydFest, but we've held on to that desperately. And that's how the day makes sense together, right? You don't throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. There's plenty of bands this year that our audiences would have loved, but in the time slot that we had for them, it makes no sense, right? Mm-hmm. It's almost jarring to like jump back between these two artists. And that is a calling card of us and independent festivals like Jeremiah, I'll give him credit with Red Wing. He works very hard at that. He is cutthroat with cutting bands out that would sell tickets for him, but it just doesn't make sense with the program he's trying to put together.
Right.
Live Nation's like, have you seen that bill? Can we fit any more bands on there that you were desperate to see?
Cram them on there. And
yeah. I mean, it's...
Well, and that's what I'm talking about. It's like when you're buying tickets, you see names, and you're like, oh, I like that band, I like that band. You're checking a box.
Yep.
Where I know you guys are going a layer deeper of you're thinking of the program, you're thinking of the flow of the festival, the feeling of the whole thing. And that goes down to the new site and the setting. And it's the entire thing is an experience that you leave the festival going, damn, that was fucking great.
Mm-hmm. And then like the stages too, like it depends what stage we put them on.
Yeah.
We think about the surrounds of the stage,
Yeah.
We'll keep doing it.
You guys are doing the hard work. I hope you keep at it, and
it gets harder.
With it.
It gets harder, but we probably say that every year. We're still there.
I've seen you guys get through the impossible though, so
yeah.
I see many years of awesome festivals coming up.
Well, we're here. We're here for this community forever. Having a forever home. That's our real guys. I love that old site, but it was always very apparent that we weren't the owners. I love our old landlord, old grandpa, but he would always make it very apparent that it wasn't ours, and I think that our patrons deserve a place. It truly, guys, no lip service. We want to make this place, Festival Park, people can come to year round and commune with it. And that's amazing to be able to go back. I feel very blessed to be able to walk those hills when no one's there, right? And I think everyone should have that opportunity.
For sure.
Yeah. It's an incredible site. I went to the original site for my first year, and it was amazing. I didn't really know how to take it all in. It was my first year in Floyd and my first FloydFest, but I knew it was something special. But everybody told me preceding the event that oh, this is the best thing in Floyd, And so I could tell there was a bittersweetness about it being the last year, and then having gone my first year at the new festival would be my second year, and at FloydFest, and I loved it. Only having 1 year to sort of compare.
Yeah,
I wasn't comparing it in the same way that a lot of the people that have gone their whole lives or for every year of FloydFest were probably seeing if it checks certain boxes.
Yeah,
but I think that for me, it was just so special to be there and to be a part of it, and to know that seeing Omni build and you guys build this all in the amount of time you had to get it to where it was such an excellent time, such an incredible festival. I definitely had more moments than you to just sit there and take 3 minutes to breathe and look at the lights on the trees and just go, this is in my little town. I'm really proud that this is a landmark and a place to be, and a cultural center to experience this. annually for now, and maybe in the future more, like you said, that's in different ways. If you have time for one more question, I'm curious because I did catch a little air from some locals that have gone.
Talk to me.
And nothing but love. This is Virginia, and it's for lovers, and we love everyone. But like I said, I didn't have any skin in the game with the old site. I'm more invested in the new site. I'm more excited because it's like something that I feel more of a part of it. I helped make some videos about it. I got to walk the grounds during construction, and we're on the bus stop, and we get to hang out with you, and I feel a part of that site. So I'm excited. But my question is, what is your response to those people who say, I like it, but it's just not the old site? That's just.
And there are some of those. There's
some of them, right? But it's not the majority. But there's a little inkling of that saltiness I caught, and I'm just curious if there's a way we can talk about that.
That is absolutely. Now, first of all, and this is not lip service, but I'll say it. Okay, is like FloydFest is within us,
right?
Right. And I mean the family carries it to wherever the family is.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But I understand where you're coming from. Where they're coming from.
Not me.
I know.
No.
I know. And I'll tell you this, and this is not, and John will say this too, and I feel very blessed for this, is I take that, embody that more than others because the story goes, right, that we were actually looking at a property somewhat across the street, and I gazed over and saw the current property, and we pulled in the driveway, and we were looking down at GIS maps and such like that, and there was a knock on the window, and we were told pretty briskly it was not for sale. And 30 minutes later, we were in a cart going around the property, and all of a sudden, it became for sale shortly thereafter. Great man, by the way, Mr. Rice. So I had those doubts too, right? That, oh my goodness, did we make this large site with this big elevation change? Did we lose the magic? I will say this. My biggest takeaway from FloydFest 2024 that I truly was so psyched about was the culture and the family seemed together, right? We still had that where the family friendliness was real.
I felt it really is.
Right? And that was and you heard that from people, and that was I was scared to death, that people are going to come back and all that stuff. There is something we may have underestimated the amount of time that it would take for people to get used to the new site, and it was jarring. And although our families always has a home with us, and we are a slightly different festival now, and that's wild because I preach what is the God-honest truth of me, which is this is the Patrons Festival, but it's kind of hard to explain. We kind of come at it with a little more professionalism than we had brought into it in the past, right? We had a new site. We had a new way to go about things and start afresh. We didn't have this is the wrong word again, anchors from the past weighing us down that this is how he's always done something, so we're going to do it that way, right? It was fresh start. And I think that we're all in a state of becoming, and that's what this new site is. And like we said earlier in this, it is so damn unique, that piece of land from any other festival site. There's a reason why they put them on flat ground, right? Dover, Delaware, I'll say this, where Firefly Music Festival used to be. We just had a big old fish festival there this past year. It is flat, right? It also can take me an hour and a half to walk from the RV area to the stage.
Right.
Coachella, Indio Polo Grounds going on right now. When I was there in 2007 for a fish show, it took me an hour and 45 minutes to walk on flat ground to another place. At least we don't have that, okay?
Right.
But I think that there's a transportation mechanism. We love the trams we got from Bonnaroo and their idea there with Jam Track, right? I feel like there's a unique transportation system, not a ski lift, okay? That
was recommended in the survey.
It was, and I'm an old press guy, right? And I'm also rambling enough from the high country of North Carolina for a while, and I dealt with a lot of people like printing presses require a person called a pressman, and they're all dying because no one's going to school for it, and that's the only person on the planet that can fix that press machine when it breaks, right? Ski lifts are the exact same thing. That thing breaks down during the festival, we better have some Austrians on call, and we're not going to have Austrians on call.
What about a toboggan lift?
To toboggan. See, that's how it goes. And he has like magic carpets, like the kids are on the ski slopes, or just like get on like conveyor belt or something. But then I started thinking about patrons just getting their like feet caught in them or something like that. We're going to figure that out. Okay. But I'll just go back to it. We kept so much of that culture and vibe that is FloydFest, that people felt it was FloydFest. And I'll tell you the one thing I think is going to bring it back a bit when we get a main stage. Having that main stage, we're not used to temporary stages, man. And for instance, at the old site, the major temporary stage we had was the turtle shell, clamshell, Pringle tent, which was the Oasis tent, which we brought back. We couldn't even do that generic. We're like, we got to make it weird. Like, let's put some curves in and stuff, right? And to have that temporary main stage, which is beautiful, felt like a departure from the FloydFest vibe. And everyone just give us grace because we're going to get there. Can't build it all. Rome wasn't built enough.
Yeah. One year at a time.
Yeah.
I think it was amazing what was built for the first year. And I know that's expanding over. A thought that I have on the original site, and I feel like I can speak to this because I grew up being young. I think my first FloydFest, I was 13 years old or so. And this is kind of like showing how old I am now because I've been there for almost every FloydFest. I think I missed one where I was out of the country. I hold a lot of magic on that previous site, but I've thought a lot about this, and it's because I've got memories. Yes. I've had those magical experiences at that previous site. And I think that imprints in your brain in a way that's hard for people to just shift away from. But that also doesn't mean that that's going to keep happening and that's the only way it was ever good. Because that magic happened from you guys setting it up every year, booking the bands, setting up that festival. And that's where this new site, I'm optimistic. Honestly, I think this new site is just as gorgeous, if not more, with more potentials, more like safety and flexibility to have a good time.
Yep.
And I think the team moved to this new site. I think with a few years of building experiences here, nobody's gonna like this. It's old news. Nobody's gonna think back and be like, yeah, 5 years into this new site, this is great, but that old site was better. They're gonna start remembering, yeah, it was tough to get in. It was like the hard parts about the previous site, and you talk about elevation change. I remember when there was the village stage way down there. Me as a teenager, that would kick my ass. I'd be 2 days into the festival and be like, oh, I really want to see this band, but I got to go down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're saying we did this move for the right reasons for our team. There is not one nefarious thing, I don't care what social media says, or money grab, or non-risk.
I see this as stability. This is you guys establishing, we're here, we're doing this. We're not renting. We're not, leaving this up to, like contracts that, you guys own this stuff. You're
and that's
in
safer for everyone
haul.
involved too. And let me tell you this too, is that I was never production. I got my starts at the very front gate, if you will. I started the box office, up there. So I was on the front lines of the customer experience. And there's one thing, and I've been very vocal about this, you could never change, which was the shuttles. You can put all the shuttles in America out on those roads. Something's going to break down. Someone's going to be upset. You're giving a disservice to the customer and the families that are involved, right? There's times where I did not want to send those people out in shuttles. 2, no harm, no foul. The federal agents on the Blue Ridge Parkway would use it as a train exercise. And if I had to drive out to an
There's
older
no access
person
to the site without crossing
the Blue Ridge
federal
Parkway,
Blue Ridge
they
Parkway.
would be taking families. This is not a knock on them, what they're training. But I came across countless situations where people were not having a good time for doing nothing wrong on the Blue Ridge Parkway. And the intention of putting everyone on one site was all based about safety, right? You get inside for a sanctuary for 5 days. You don't have to leave. We're going to take really good care about you. And make no mistake, right? We risked it all by moving. And we had the right reasons. If any of us went into that move for the wrong reasons, then we would not be sitting here talking right now, right? And so I hope people trust. I think they'll trust. I think they already do trust. And I do think, too, we had some people, understandably, who sat out year one. Let's get the kinks out, like not buying the first version of a new car or something like that. And they're going to come back, and I hope we've proved to them, and I hope they do come back because we got some.
Dude, personal experience, first year went off without a hitch,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
We're so
And
grateful.
I'm so excited for this coming year.
Yeah, so grateful for it all.
Yeah. Also, if you're going to an outdoor music festival, and this is my opinion, not on behalf of FloydFest's opinion, but if you're able-bodied and you can, just go walking. Just walk around. It's beautiful. Check out the property.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the magic happens too. I mean, you can go lock in on a band. You can park yourself in front of a stage in a chair and just bring your cooler and spend the day and have a good spot. You can get magic that way, but I mean, I've been to dozens and dozens of festivals all around the country, and FloydFest definitely has a lot to offer beyond just the music on stage, that magic that Luke and you keep talking about. Those are moments that they percolate up out of the ether because there's so many people and situations happening that you come together, and before you know it, you have a memory you'll never forget.
New memories.
And you can't really compare those to memories you've had at a different festival. It's a new moment, and if your butt hurts from walking uphill too much, then it's probably a good thing.
Probably a good thing, man.
It's exercise.
I need to get more exercise. I'm like, bring it.
And I got to say, I've spent a lot of time on site. There's some beautiful like nooks and crannies of like shaded trees and like I'm not going to say it on the podcast because that's my spot, but I've already picked out a spot on the festival where I could see everything in the shade of a tree. And
Beautiful. And you do remind me too, we can't
I've
talk
said too
about
much.
either. We got some surprises about improved camping areas. We listened to it all.
Nice.
That's all I can say.
Nice.
Anyway.
Cool.
Well, dude,
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for hanging out with us again.
I really appreciate this. You guys are killing it. Good questions.
Anything else you want to, like, any news you want to drop before?
I'm trying to think about it. No, I'm just excited about what's ahead. And, it's no secret that we will be expanding Festival Park and doing more events for this area. And I think that's very exciting to all of us. We've got a couple other projects Across the Way Productions does. We're very excited about debuting the next couple of years. And it's just, there's never a dull moment, right? And the moment that we stop learning every day or stay stagnant, we're going to start dying. So we ain't start dying. We're not dead yet.
You guys got a lot more work to do.
Yep. Buckle up.
Yeah, we'll keep at it, and we'll have you back on maybe after this next season or...
Well, I'm just grateful to be involved. You guys do a lot of musicians and such, and I'm kind of not that. So thank you guys for the time.
Well, yeah, it's musicians and industry type things. So
music enthusiasts. I think
it's cool.
That's the best we can all say we are.
I really enjoy getting the insight to the behind the scenes of putting on the show and the takes that you have on the industry.
I love learning from. Love you guys do that. Like, I wish there's a lot of stuff that people told me or I learned about years ago. And it's very interesting to learn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, Sam.
Thank you guys. It means a lot.
Thank you.